Today, we're going to be tier listing some of the most controversial athletes in the sport of wrestling. I'm world champion freestyle wrestler Stevan Micic. I'm joined with my sister Tatiana, and we're going to be going through some of the wrestlers that many people think are villains in the sport and kind of had either gotten a bad rap or have a lot of controversy around them. Some embrace it, some maybe are crash outs, but we're here to find out. So make sure before we get into this video, go and subscribe. Like this video and turn notification bells on before we get into it. Let's go. All right, Tatiana. So we've got a list of about 15 or 16 wrestlers here. We're going to place them in a tier depending on if they're really a villain or some sort of maybe controversial, just depending on what they were with their wrestling career and how fans view them, okay? Okay. All right, so at the top, we've got supervillains. So these are going to be like our really serious, like, all right.
Like these bad guy in a good way or bad guy in a bad way?
I think it could be both. It could be either. And I think that's a good point because some of these people claim to want to be villains, right? They're kind of always trying to be controversial, and that's going to be the light that we're going to shine on them. All right, the next one is villain arc. So these wouldn't be maybe like they're the bad guy or like the person that they're always on the other side of who they want to win or kind of like has a lot of animosity toward them. Villain arc maybe like something happened to them that makes them feel like the villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like maybe that's changed their path or career of like how people perceive them.
Okay.
Third's controversial. This is just what it is. They're just controversial. They're not really like a bad guy or good guy. They just kind of say things or act a certain way for attention or just that's kind of their persona. Then we got enigma, which is just like they kind of have a lot of attention or fascination about them because they're kind of a mystery. You're not sure. And then bottom is just straight up crash out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy crashing out. Okay. All right. So we're going to start it off. We're going to go first off. We're going to start with Mitchell Messenbrink. Do you know who Mitchell Messenbrink is? Oh my gosh. That's terrible.
Where do you go to school?
Penn State.
What years?
Right now.
Well, I don't know anybody right now. I know I look like I'm like 18, but I'm really 25.
Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Pick me?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
You think I just follow NCAA wrestling on my free time now?
No.
Well, I don't.
All right, so Mitchell Messenbrink is a national champion from Penn State, and I feel like a lot of people always kind of look at him because of the rivalry he's had with David Carr and, you know, them going back and forth against each other. David Carr just beat him to make the world team this year as well in freestyle. But also, there's a video clip of him, like, shoving Jordan Burroughs when they wrestled at the Olympic trials, where he was, like, pushing him and shoving him.
That was him?
Yes, that was him. See, you do know that.
I know.
And all the Penn State people were, like, booing Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah.
So I feel like Messenbrink kind of has that right now. So I kind of want to put him in supervillain because of, like, what people are like portraying him to be, and he might be the greatest guy, and I don't know what he thinks of himself, but I feel like people think of him as like the villain right now. Yeah. So all right, we're putting him in super villain. All right, next up, AJ Ferrari.
I don't think he's gonna be in anything. There's no like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say controversial.
I feel like he's more than that though. Like he straight up is controversial, but I feel like he could be either super villain or controversial. I don't think he can be like any of the other ones because he does. It's like too calculated to be crash out, right?
Yeah, it's too calculated.
He's got a whole persona. Yeah. He's not crashing out. It's his persona that he lives by, and that's why I think he should be super villain because he's not like saying controversial things. He actually like plays the part of his lifting, how he flexes, his bird to splits in a match.
I don't think he's cool enough to be super villain, but whatever. In my opinion.
I think I'm still gonna move him there though, but I see what you're saying. I'm gonna put him above Messenbrink because I think he has a lot more attraction and like people. There's more storyline to him. He's transferred like 3 or 4 times from schools. Okie State. Then he got in trouble. Then he came back.
This is sounding a little controversial or crash out now, isn't it?
It is.
But whatever.
Okay, so now we've got Bubba Jenkins. So Bubba Jenkins was a wrestler when I was a kid. He's not really controversial or actually a villain by any means of like how he acts off the mat, but he definitely, I put him in villain arc because not only did he pin, I feel like America's favorite David Taylor to win an NCAA title in 2011 or 2010, I believe. He did it but because he was at Penn State and then Cale didn't want him anymore. They wanted David Taylor in the spot and was going to have his spot, so he transferred to Arizona State, which kind of is like a whole villain arc in itself, and then he goes and pins their main man, David Taylor, to win the national title.
That one's good.
So that's like a good villain arc story, and I feel like he's kind of like the anti-hero right there. All right, next one, Dayton Fix. Now, the only reason Dayton Fix is on this list isn't because of anything he is as a person, because I know he's a really quiet, conservative guy when it comes to like how he acts. You know what I mean? He's more introverted. He's very nice. But I feel like people have kind of given him a bad rep because he has never won the NCAA tournament and he always finishes second.
Yeah.
So I feel like people like rooted against him for that, and I kind of feel bad because of it.
Yeah.
You know, he lost to Vito. He lost to RBY. He got a 5th year. He wrestled 5 years in college, and then he lost again at the NCAAs.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should put him in? He doesn't really fit any. I think villain villain arc, maybe.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, the past paved for him. And he needs to have some redemption. What do you think?
Yeah.
I do too. And I kind of want to put him above. I mean, he's maybe below Bubba Jenkins now, but I think he could have a come up.
Is he still wrestling?
Yeah, he's wrestling for freestyle still now. For Cowboy RTC. Trying to make the Team USA. I mean, he's a world silver medalist in freestyle. Second place again. But I think, these are the things that motivate and drive. And, we're going to see maybe some better things from Dayton Fix. So put him in the villain arc. All right, we got a good one. We got Nick Suriano. Nicky push-ups, baby. Handsome Tuesday.
Happy Handsome Tuesday.
I don't even know how he does it, but Nicky's my boy. We went to Michigan together we shared a year there. We won a national title. We also were competitors as well, and I think that he just has a lot of attraction around him. He has this, very fascinating aura, and so I don't want to call Nick a villain at all. He's actually not. I think he's a really good person, but he's very intriguing and interesting, so I have to put him in Enigma because, I kind of made this tier just for him because Full Wrestling made that documentary called, Wrestling is Enigma, and I think that's, the perfect thing because he's, a one in a million person.
Yeah.
And I think nobody can figure him out. So I have to put him in Enigma.
For sure.
And the only reason I think he definitely goes in that. So okay, next we got Dylan Palacio.
I think he's controversial.
Yeah, I think he's controversial too. I think he is a villain that he wants to be. He wants to be kind of on the opposite side of things. What do you think? He's funny too.
Yeah.
Dylan's hilarious. I think he'd want to be super villain, but he's definitely controversial. By just yes.
If you don't think he's funny, then you would think he's controversial.
Yes.
I think he's funny.
We would put him in supervillain because I know that's where he'd want to be, the L40 general.
Then put him in supervillain.
Okay. He would be controversial in reality, but I'm gonna put him in supervillain.
I think either one.
How he portrays himself, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we got Gable Steveson, okay? Olympic gold medalist, multiple time NCAA champ.
I think controversial.
You think controversial?
Yes.
Why?
I feel like everything's controversial.
Well, they all are controversial,
I know.
but there's a difference between controversy
didn't
and...
he, want to come back to wrestling after the WWE?
Yes.
Is that controversial?
Yeah, but I think that it's more that...
what makes it... So, what are you saying makes supervillain versus controversial?
Well, supervillain means, they're kind of the bad guy when they do things like that. And I don't think Gable does things like that, so I do agree with you. I think it is controversial. Because I think that most of the time, he's, one of people's favorite wrestlers until really recently, where there's a lot of attention with him trying to go play football.
Yeah.
Do WWE. Now he's fighting.
Which is just him wanting to do different things, but it's, controversial because it's oh.
Yeah. Maybe people put him as, a villain or something because they, all were, hoping, Wyatt Hendrickson's upset was, this crazy thing, but I don't think that makes him a villain or anything. I think Gable's still, America's, he's the one who won the Olympic gold for the U.S., so I feel let's put him at Gable and controversial. Okay, David Taylor. I only added David Taylor in this list because he's not a villain.
I don't know anything about David Taylor. I say that in the last video too. I said he was too old for me.
The only reason David Taylor's on this list, guys, is because he is not a villain to anyone in America. He's only a villain to the country of Iran, which Tiny does know a lot about because everyone thinks Hassan Yazdani, King Yazdani, is literally the hero and David Taylor is the enemy of the whole entire country. And I feel even though they've wrestled 6 times and David's 4-1 or 5-1 against him, they still want to say Yazdani all day over David Taylor, and he can never catch a break about it. So I'm going to add my own tier.
You're going to add another one?
It's going to be called the Iran tier.
Well, no one else is going to be in that tier.
It's only David Taylor.
Stupid.
That's what people do. David Taylor's in it. He's the only one in it. Because he wouldn't even be on this challenge otherwise. He's not a villain at all. He's very likable.
So why is Dayton Fix a villain? Because he takes second all the time, but he's winning against somebody.
Tiny, it's more for humor than it is for actual making sense.
No, I don't want to be in the video at all. Not the video. Being held here against my will.
Shut up. Okay, now we have my college teammate, Logan Massa. Okay? Now, Logan, I feel was always kind of on the opposite side of, the favorite wrestlers. Remember? He always wrestled Aymar. He always wrestled Vincenzo Joseph, the guys who were, the national champs. And Logan just kind of had that gritty, pitbull mentality. And you never really knew what Logan was going to do in a match. Even as a teammate, I would get scared, he might do something to the ref or the coaches, or he might do something to one of the... So he was very unpredictable, I felt like.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel like that being...
Yeah, hot-headed a little bit.
Logan was very hot-headed in college, and it was awesome to watch, and he was just mean and tough. I mean, look at how many times he would bow and arrow people on top with that. Just crush people and inflict pain. He flexed on the brands, which was a pretty amazing moment. So, I don't know. He could just be... It's not super villain energy, but it's I don't know.
How about Iran? I'm just I feel what's that
What should we put him in? Maybe just
Honestly, I would put him in...
Should we make another other tier?
No.
You know, making tiers are fun. Just feel like the enemy. He was, or like the underdog. Like, I don't know, something
maybe
like
the underdog.
Something like they're kind of like the underdog. Maybe let's do it under villain arc. Let's go like.
So you don't think Dayton Fix would be the underdog?
No, because a lot of the times Dayton Fix was like the favorite to win, and that's why it was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Underdog, because Logan was a dog when he wrestled too, and I feel like he had one of the best freshman seasons ever and didn't win. In it with Vincenzo, just really close matches. He was beating guys that were seniors as a freshman, like Zeke Jordan. It was insane to watch Logan wrestle, especially me and Miles and me being on the same team with him. So he's got that dog in him. So we'll put him underdog. All right, we got Austin DeSanto.
Crash out. That's the only reason I'm in this video.
Why?
Because that's the only one I know enough of his career to place him somewhere.
I think DeSanto definitely was crashing out a lot at Drexel, and then he had a little bit of a spurt the next year at Iowa.
Yeah.
He's gotten a lot better since, and I really do like and respect DeSanto a lot, but I think his actions justified definitely has to go in the crash out tier for the time being.
I mean, I don't like and respect him.
Okay, well that's you. As a competitor, I feel like it's a little different, but you don't have to. You're just a fan.
I'm a fan of DeSanto.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Alright, we got Pat Downey.
I don't know much about him.
I think Pat Downey goes as supervillain. I think that's what he wants to be, and I think Lizard King, that's what he goes by, is going to go to number 1 in my opinion, because reason being is he is always kind of like on the other end of the side of every single controversy that has happened, really, and has a very good case behind all the things that's happened with him. You know what I mean? Where he does a good job stirring up the media, he does a good job on the mat, and he usually backs it up as well. I mean, he's a U.S. World Team member.
So if we're making tier lists, can we make a new one called Flexible Queen? Like, why are you making tier lists for certain people?
Should I do Flexible Queen?
Don't. I just made it up. Well, the picture he has is him in the splits. I'm like staring at it. Ew.
Alright, Carter Starachi. I think Carter Starachi also goes into supervillain because of his wrestling accolades, but I feel like goes to the lower end of wrestling supervillain because I feel like he's just kind of tries to portray it like a very, he looks at himself a little bit higher than the other people, and I feel like people, get a bad taste in their mouth from it. And plus there was some controversy about him. I don't need to go into the details, but I think, and then he was beefing with Pat Downey too, and he was beefing with AJ Ferrari. So he always has these fights with other people, but he's a little less entertaining.
Yeah, you gotta put all the supervillains in one category.
Yes. So they gotta all be up there fighting against each other, the League of Shadows, there we go. Which makes me feel less about the other ones, because Mess and Brinken, they're a different tier of villain. They might just go in villain. There should be a supervillain and just a villain.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I kind of like Palacio still at supervillain a little bit because he wrestled the same time as me with his social media presence of what he does, regardless if it's wrestling or just anything. I feel like he's always got something to say, and he's got great topics that make him entertaining, whether you like him or not. So I kind of want to keep him in that category in the supervillains. So that's what we're gonna go with. All right. Next up, we got a wrestler you have no idea about is Steve Mocco.
Yeah.
Steve Mocco was an old head, amazing wrestler, Olympian.
Are you an old head?
Yeah, but he's OG. If I'm Unk, then Steve Mocco's OG. Steve Mocco made the Olympic team the year I started wrestling when I was 8. So, and he was in college. He wrestled at Iowa and then transferred to Oklahoma State. And he was just a bruiser, a big dude, just kind of physical. I think he had a match where he punched or kicked somebody. He's got some crazy, backstory and just things. So I feel for him, but he was a likable guy. I feel everyone liked him still. There's kind of that time where that was embodied wrestling. So I'm moving him to villain. I feel better than supervillain because supervillains kind of got both sides. And Steve Mocco's a little old, so I feel people don't think about that stuff now.
Yeah.
Put him here. All right. Next, Thomas Gilman.
I have no clue.
All right.
Box, you want to fight? Let's go in the parking lot. We'll go in the back alley. No one will know. Just me and you. We'll figure it out, right? If you want to do that, I'll do that. If you can't beat me on the mat, try to beat me in the parking lot.
Thomas Gilman, I kind of want to put him in just regular villain too, because I don't think he does anything to warrant like crazy absurd behavior of any sort, or creating anything. But when he wrestles, he just kind of has that temper where he definitely has had some crash outs back at Iowa. He definitely had some crash outs where just saying things, doing things, definitely kind of lived that Iowa lifestyle mentality. Calmed down a lot at Penn State, but I feel I got to put him in villain just because I feel until he made the U.S. spot, I feel he always had that. Even as the U.S. guy, I feel a lot of people just had that taste about Gilman, but it was a good thing. So I'm gonna put him above Mocco, but below Messenbrink. Because all right, last two, and they're both Iowa. So the Brands brothers.
Oh, it's one of each?
Well, no, it's just both of them. This one, they're a package deal. Tom and Terry. What do you think about them? They a little wild for you?
I think they're wild. Do we make a wild tier? I'm just kidding.
I think that they fight for the wrestlers, but they're pretty chaotic. I could probably put them in controversial, maybe.
Yeah.
Because they're not wrestlers anymore. anymore. Maybe back in the day they had that villain aura.
Yeah.
I'm not putting him in Crash
Okay,
Out. Alright, last one, Brent Metcalf. I feel like he was like the OG villain before everybody else, before social media. He pushed Darian Caldwell when he tried to do the backflip.
Wow! Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad.
You've seen
I've
that.
seen that, yeah.
And he just kind of had that, like, mentality. I think that, like, a lot of the other Iowa wrestlers, like, such as Thomas Gilman, really wanted to replicate and kind of, like, be that when they went and stepped into Iowa. So I feel like Metcalf has to go to villain and probably the number one at the time, as when he wrestled. So what do you think about this list? We got Pat Downey at the top, Ferrari, Strachey, and Palacio are our top 4 supervillains. I think that's a pretty good one.
I think that's good.
Alright, and another one, villain list, we got Metcalf, Messenbrink, Gilman, Mako. And then villain arc, we got
The only
Bubba
thing
Jenkins.
is, I feel like I'd be upset if I was in the same tier as, like, I think Dylan's gonna be mad he's in the same tier as AJ.
No, I don't. But here's the thing.
Is this for different reasons?
Yes, for different reasons.
Okay.
One villain doesn't mean that they're the same kind of villain.
Oh.
The Joker's not the same as the Penguin, Tanya. Like, villains are all
Okay, you're
different.
right,
They come in
you're
all
right,
different
you're
shapes
right.
and sizes. I mean,
You're right.
look at
There's
One
some
Piece.
lame super
Doflamingo's a lot different than Gecko Moria.
Yeah,
So
that's
exactly
true.
what I'm trying to say. So let me know what you guys think of the picks that me and Tatiana made on this villain wrestler tier list. Make sure to subscribe, leave your comments below, and let's go.
Let us know if we should do a One Piece character tier list.
For any One Piece fans, she wants to make one. Alright guys, we're out of here. World champs in everything we do, baby. Let's go.